everything remains the same in terms of what we're looking for on a daily basis. That's a team that's going to compete hard, defend, play together, and continue to grow. And I think for the most part, we're seeing that. We've been seeing that from the guys. They're competing hard on a nightly basis, and so just look forward to seeing that being enhanced as we move forward into the season.
When you came aboard, you were kind of in a bind with Carmelo's situation. Has that worked out as well as you could expect what you got back and how they played for you?
Been very pleased with the additions of both Ennis and Doug McDermott. I think Ennis has come in and he's become quickly becoming a crowd favorite for the people in New York. He brings a toughness. He brings a commitment to team. I think he's complemented KP very well. He's relentless on the boards and adds a little edge and toughness to our basketball team. And Doug McDermott is a consummate professional. He continues to get better. He gives us someone who can stretch the defense because he can shoot three-point shots. But I think he's done even better on the defensive end than I think most people have thought, and that's been a pleasure to see. And both of those guys have been about enhancing the type of culture that we want to have here. So definitely been pleased with both of them.
What's the level of concern with Tim, and when do you think realistically he'll be back?
Well, he's dealing with the lower left leg stress injury, but he's here with his team. He's working hard with our medical team. We're going to reevaluate it in 2 weeks, but I'm optimistic that we're doing all the right things. It's good having him around, and I think he's going to eventually he'll be okay, and we'll let you know in 2 weeks what that looks like going from that point on.
Can you work out with all those big men you have on the team? Guys with long-term contracts, a player like Willie Hernan Gomez, that's a young player that you're looking to develop. Can it work with all of them, or does something have to work itself?
Well, I think we know how long the season can be. Right now, and the rotation has been what it has. Willie and Joe are the guys who haven't played much yet, but I've been around the NBA long enough to know that can change and turn for a variety of reasons. I think both of those guys have been working very hard and will be ready for an opportunity. So when that comes, we'll be able to see it and evaluate it and see what happens from there.
Is there anything about with Joe? Have you discussed with him kind of his role as a guy who was an MVP candidate a couple years ago?
With Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, constant communication with Joe. Joe has been a consummate pro, really. He has, a guy who's obviously been used to playing for most of his career, but he's been a professional example. The guy is coming before practice, staying after practice. He's setting a good tone for the young guys to follow. And what I know about him is that when his number is called, I think he's going to be ready to help this ball club in any way he can.
He said, he's taken this in a professional manner, but he's been around for a long time.
Yes.
Would it be better for him and for you guys if, you almost parted ways and both parties just moved on?
No, I think I like having some veteran people around to help a young team, and I think his veteran experience is very helpful to have him around in the locker room. And so, as of right now, I'm very comfortable that he's here, and let's just see what he can contribute going forward. But he's done everything that we've asked of him, and I think he's embracing where he's at in his career. He's embracing where this team is at right now, and he's going to carry out the role to the best of his ability right now.
So what would he have to do to earn his spot back into the rotation?
Well, again, with the season being long, and I'm going to knock on wood here, you hope that there's no injuries or things of that nature. But we've got a lot of games coming in front of us, and that'll be a decision that ultimately Jeff and the staff makes, whether it's based on matchups, or whether it's based on how the team is performing, if we're struggling, not struggling. So he or I don't know exactly when that date will be, but I know I've just been in the NBA. This is my 18th season. It'll happen at some point, and then he just knows he'll have to be ready at that time.
With Jeff, you talked about the team is competing every night, and do you credit Jeff for being able to get the team at that level?
Yes, I think Jeff is doing a very solid job with this team. He's getting an opportunity to kind of, add to the culture, if you will. He and I communicate on a daily basis. We got a very strong and solid relationship, and Just looking forward to him continuing to push these guys in the manner that we want them pushed, and to continue to grow as a defensive team, continue to grow our competitive edge, and continue to get better at executing and learning how to win more games.
In your experience, what does it take to start winning these games out on the road when you've got a young team? I know the hard work and the effort they're putting in. You want to see that enhanced. What's it going to take for them to make that next step?
I think that's my experience has shown me over the years, especially with younger teams, that's usually the last component, is learning how to win on the road. And I think the more this team, gets out there and starts to, study mistakes from past failures on the road, and just really understand that when you go on the road, the energy's got to really come from inside. The belief has to come from inside. Understanding, situations better, and understanding, how to handle runs on the road versus at home. All those things, I think, with a younger group, as they continue to get those experiences, it's my hope that we'll figure it out and start to be a better road team and have some better results on the road moving forward.
Scott, a lot of people thought that you guys would really struggle if you went back and read Mark's story. But the fact that you guys were,
Okay, exactly.
if you were to be playing important, like trying to make it into the playoffs, playing games in March and April, what do you say to the fans who say, I'd rather have them get a high pick? What do you think the value of that?
Well, I think it's very important if you're playing meaningful basketball late into the season, just for, again, the culture of what you're trying to build here. And I would also say, wherever we end up in the draft, whether it's on the playoff side or the lottery side or whatever, I have extreme confidence in our scouting staff and our front office staff that we're going to add some talented players to the mix here. But I just believe that it's important to compete hard, do the very best that you can, and then organically let that happen. The amount of wins or losses come out of that versus trying to put your team in a position not to win. I don't think that's healthy for any culture, because I think if you try to quote unquote institutionalize losing, if you will, that's hard to get out of your building. You may never get that out of your building. So we just want to do the very best we can, and we'll live with the results.
I think you said after the Carmelo trade that you were still examining anything to help the team.
Mm-hmm.
You've had some veterans, guys like Courtney and stuff, play well, who probably would have some value to a playoff team. So do you remain open to anything as the year goes on?
I mean, part of my job is that, but I again, like I told you guys in the beginning, I don't want to discuss, trade specifics and thoughts of that matter. But again, my role and job as a general manager is always to keep your eyes open on how you can best serve your basketball team and enhance not only the culture but enhance your ability to win. So, that's part of my daily grind.
At the quarter mark here, how do you think KP's kind of stepped into the role as the guy, and what have you seen from him, and what else do you still want to continue to see from him?
Well, I think he's really growing and embracing that role, and I think the big thing for him is he's realizing that he's on the top of everybody's scouting report that we play, and so there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, a lot of attention that comes with that. I think, but I think he's embracing the opportunity. He's excited about it. Again, I've said it many times, I'm really impressed about how he goes about his work on a daily basis to make himself the very best player that he can. I think he's realizing that he's being viewed both on the national scale and locally in New York a lot differently, and he's ascending to that top perch, if you will. But I think he would also tell you that he's still a young guy who's got a lot to learn, and with that, through a number of the successes he may have, there's going to be some failures, too, and some adversity, and how he responds to that and grows from that, ultimately determine just how, impactful and good he becomes down the line.
And to that point, is there anything about his mental toughness that you can share with us that we might not necessarily see?
Well, I think, he bounces back pretty quick. I mean, if he has a setback of it, whether it's a tough game or he's, hurt, injured an ankle or elbow or whatever the case may be, he really has a drive to get back and play. He wants to compete. You know, when I sat down with him when I first got here, he really expressed, about him, really wanted to be a top level player and a winner in this league. So I think I like his approach to the game on a daily basis, both in practice and in games.
Scott, what have you seen from Frank in terms of what he's done so far? What do you envision for him a couple of months from now as he progresses with his career?
I see a 19-year-old whose eyes are wide open a lot of nights. He's a sponge. I mean, this is a young kid that is trying to figure it out. Not only this game, the NBA game. He's moved to a new country now, so there's a lot of adjusting going on, and he's trying to master and learn the toughest position, I believe, in the game, and that's the point guard position. I think fortunately for him, we've got two veterans in that locker room who've been very helpful to him, in both Jared Jack and Ramon Sessions. Jared being the more vocal guy and a vocal leader, so Frank is seeing what that looks like and understanding that. And Ramon has been a consummate professional. He's more of the quiet guy, but he's in there on off days. He's working all the time. He spends a lot of time working with Frank afterwards. So after practices, so he's got some good mentors at his position. I think defensively, I think he's further ahead on the defensive side of the ball, which I think is a good thing for a young player. Because my experience over the years, that's one of the things that whether you're front office or coaching staff, you're always trying to figure out with the rookies and young players, well, who can they match up with on the defensive end? And I think that's one of his strengths. I think he's going to continue. After he gets a chance to go through the entire league, he'll continue to become more aggressive on the offensive end and start to figure some things out. But you're going, again, you're going to see. We're going to watch a 19-year-old really just get a education on a daily basis, whether it's in practice or in games. And there's going to be some highs and lows that come with that, I think. But he's got the right personality and he's got the right support around him to, figure it all out and eventually become a very solid player in the league.